Hello everyone, and welcome to what I'm calling Modernizing Old Hymns number 4.5. I really hadn't planned on doing this lesson at the beginning, but then I got my hands on one of these. Okay, it's called a canjo. Was invented in the year 1990. In North Carolina by a guy who made Appalachian dulcimers. And why do they call it a canjo? First of all, it's like a one-string banjo with, instead of having a drum at the bottom, it's got an old tin can for a resonator. You can also see it's diatonically fretted. That is, there's no sharps or flats, so the frets appear to be uneven, just like on an Appalachian dulcimer. Well, what can you do with just one string? Okay, not much. Well, first of all, it helps if you know the limitations of your instrument. You hear that? It's got one harmonic, and I noticed if you squeeze the can a little bit, you get that nifty sound. Other than that, what can you do? Just one note at a time. I really don't think there's any instrument that simple. And I hope this video is especially useful to those of you who play instruments that play only one note at a time, like the flute, the trumpet, and so on. One of the easiest things I can do with this is I can add a little drone here. What I'm going to do is just, on the off beats, I'm going to play the open string. Did you notice too that I used the drone to help keep the rhythm? Now I'm going to add a counter melody. I'll play it on the offbeat since I can only play one note at a time. And you notice too, how do I know what to make the lower note? It's generally going to be 2 or 3 frets below the melody note. You might have noticed a little bit too, I didn't just keep, especially close to the end there, the counter melody actually had a little bit of a melody of its own. I didn't just keep playing 1, 2 or 3 frets below the melody note. I had a little bit of a flourish in there, which is considered a very skillful thing to do if you have a real instrument. Okay, now how if I try a higher counter melody this time? about it if I add some rhythm to it this time? I'm going to give it a rhythm like that. Okay, how about if I try a more syncopated rhythm this time? I'm going to use that basic strum. You can see it still takes a little practice, right? Now I can even combine the counter melody with the rhythm. An instrument like this too is very useful for teaching the modal scales. We have the scale that's commonly called major today, in between the two short frets here. And there, and then there's what's commonly called minor, starting on A. There's another scale called Dorian, starts on the D, probably the most commonly known song today that's in Dorian is What Child Is This? You hear that at Christmas, also called Green Sleeves. In the Dorian scale. And then there's the Mixolydian scale starting on G, second to the last note there is a little different. Mixolydian doesn't seem to be used a whole lot today. Bluegrass music uses it quite a bit. A little song there called Old Joe Clark. I only know of 2 hymns in the Lutheran hymnal that use Mixolydian. Here's number 225 in the Lutheran hymnal. There's a modal scale called Phrygian that starts on the E. Martin Luther wrote a couple of hymns using that scale. From Depths of Woe I Cry to Thee, hymn number 329 in the Lutheran hymnal. Now you know why you have such a hard time singing that hymn. Now, while I'm kicking the can around here, so to speak, I hope you learn 2 things from this lesson. There really is no such thing as simple music. One of the things is maybe you've had to sit and listen to somebody play a flute solo or something where they're playing just one note at a time and you've been sitting there, oh, this is boring. The problem isn't the music. The problem is you. Okay, you don't know how to listen. right? Listen for the quality of the instrument, of course. Listen for the skill of the musician. Is the musician expressive? Is the musician trying to imitate nature, trying to make their instrument sound like the wind, trying to make it sound like a human voice? Are there sharps and flats in the melody that you've noticed? Try listening to every other note and see if that stands out as a counter melody or a melody by itself. The other thing I hope to have shown you in this video is everything I've done here with this little instrument is a microcosm of what I'm trying to teach you in this course. We're going to look at melodies. We're going to look at harmonies, how the melodies interact with harmonies and counter melodies in chords. We'll also experiment with different kind of rhythms, and I hope to explain some of the modal scales to you as well, point out which hymns in the hymnal use those modal scales. So all things for you to look forward to. Thank you for watching.